June, you told me to objection handle. I objection handled, and I'm losing more deals. I'm manipulating people.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Welcome to another episode of the Dynasty Podcast. Me and June in the studio today. Today we're going to talk about, is objection handling manipulative? And are you coercing people? And are you putting a magic spell on them and should you stop? We're going to talk about that. What's your thoughts on it? By the way, I became like 5 inches taller because our podcast studio manager gave me a pillow underneath the chair. They suggested that I should do that to match.
Fucking roasted. He's like, hey, get a pillow.
I was like, yep, get a pillow. The
Be
pillow.
a little taller. Be a little taller.
The pillow trick. All right. So what's your thoughts on it? Objection handling, is it manipulative? Are you coercing people against their will?
I mean, manipulative, yes. Are you forcing someone to pull out their credit card? I mean, you're not the one pulling out the credit card, so no. It's this, like, we're all living under manipulation from someone else at the end of the day. We're all programmed in certain ways. Let's pick your poison, really. Literally, just pick your poison. Who do you want to get manipulated by at the end of the day? Like, the way that we're living, like, I mean, there's a book right now that's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind.
Oh.
Right? We're all living under, like, someone's programming or the environment or the industry or whatever. Like, we're living under like some type of programming. So we're always being manipulated. It's choose your poison. Who you want to get manipulated by at the end of the day.
Is manipulation a good thing or a bad thing?
Manipulation has a negative connotation. So right?
Yeah, the word itself is like, manipulation.
Manipulation and persuasion is just pretty much the same thing. Persuasion is like, oh, it's cooler. It has a positive connotation, I get, but I guess manipulation has a negative connotation, but it's just this and that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? In my opinion. So it is manipulative, yeah, but I mean, persuasion, like, I mean, hey, I persuaded this person. Hey, I manipulated is pretty much the same thing in my opinion, really. Yeah. I don't know. I just never really checked the dictionary and see like what the definition is, but I know that manipulation has a negative connotation to it, but overall, why are we discussing about this though? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
It just we just got the random inspiration. You know, it's funny because in our high ticket space, for some reason, this is a controversial topic because there's a lot of white knights in the high ticket closing space.
What is a white knight?
So white knight, it actually comes from the dating space. So white knight is like, you know, like let's say a guy goes talk to a girl at a bar, and then another guy will be like, hey bro, you shouldn't talk to her, bro. That's you're invading her privacy, bro. They're doing that because the guy can't get the girl, so they're doing like the white knight. Hey, I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy. You know the meme with the stamp? It's like if I get 10 stamps, I can get the sex, right? Same thing with our space.
How many times I respected a woman?
Exactly. There we go. Oh, the 10th time, the coupon, right? So same thing as in the high ticket space. For some reason, it's like, you know, you gotta be aligned with your purpose, and you need to. Like all that shit, right? And don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for things, but objection handling, is it really bad? Depending on like what the situation is, very taken out of context, right? So people can take out things out of context and it can be like a very controversial thing for some whatever reason. So depending on, like I've had situations, for example, where I've gone objection handling for like this one prospect I'm thinking about, right? I've objection handled that guy for an hour and a half, right? So about like 20-minute discovery in like hour and a half. So it was like a 2-hour call. And I was quite rough on him. So, you know, I was very like direct to him. Like I wasn't like, you know, like demeaning him or whatever reason. But I was, hey man, like I was challenging him on different things that he's not getting outside of her comfort zone and things like that. And he's like, yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Like I know I need to do it, but I don't know. Maybe now's at the right time. Yada yada yada. All that kind of stuff. Eventually he enrolled, and then you know he shot me a text after that. It's like, hey bro. By the way, thanks so much because no one believed in me like you did. Not even myself. And I was like, yeah, it's my job. And then he still texts me to his day. That was like a year ago. He still texts me to this day. Like he texts me sometimes like, oh, Brian, like I'm going to be just like you. You're my role model. I'm like, bro, I was rough on you. It's like, I know, bro, but that's the exact point. It's that you were rough on me because you were trying to get me out of my way. I was like, I guess. But that just gave us an example of that, depending on like some people need more of that tougher love, some people know more like that empathy, but some like a lot of people just take it for like black and white. It's like 1 or like 100 kind of thing. But no, life doesn't work like that.
Yeah. By the way, I just noticed, can you button at least 2 more buttons? Because I cannot really look at your eyes.
Eyes
it's
up
very
here.
distracting.
Eyes up here.
Eyes up here, yeah.
It's my body.
I agree, though. Objection handle with a guy for like 2 hours and 10 minutes. I mean, the TM setter actually looked at my call. He was like, "Hey, Jude, how am I supposed to watch all this call?" Well, you told me to send that recording, so I'm sending it out to you. And he's like, got tons of TM setters that no, I'm the guy that would go the extra mile to objection handle someone. But I mean, how many times have I gotten refunds? I mean, the most recent offer, I people know the stats. I've closed 14 out of 33 show ups basically, and I think now so far that I know of, because I left that offer 2 months ago, only one person asked for a refund. Only one person.
What happened to that offer, June?
It's not.
After you left, what happened?
It's non-existent anymore.
Oh, why is that?
No one would go the extra mile. No one. No one would go the extra mile. No one.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. That the revenue constantly dropped. I was the one that it didn't have any funnel. It didn't have any disqualification process. I was the one juggling everything, and then basically the business owner was like, "Hey, like, I mean, that's your job, though." Okay, I'll do my job. Okay, I guess I'll just use my. I was like, "Hey, like, I mean, you gotta pay me the commission the right way," and I was like, "No, June, that's your job. Like, you gotta do your job properly." Okay, cool, man. Let's see how it goes, and that's how it goes. So
this is how it goes.
this is where the villain has been created. You know,
Oh,
the villain. This is another story for another day, but
are you Joker?
I mean, I operate a lot with people think I'm the good guy. Also, I don't know. I think people think I'm the good guy, but I'm not really that of a good guy. I'm like, you know me. I work a lot with dark energy. Like, for example, like the good energy is I really genuinely want to help the people. I want to really help the industry also, because I see a lot of bullshit, marketing, junk, a lot of that, right? Objection handling is everything, scriptless selling, whatever bullshit it is, right? Did I call out some people here? Anyways, like make 10K a month in the next 90 days bullshit also. I see that all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm like so sick and tired of it. So I have a vision for the industry, right? Which is like, let's do this the right way. Let's set expectations the right way. But the dark side of me is like, well, I mean, the most recent business owner, he told me, he's a big guy, by the way. He's an 8-figure, 9-figure entrepreneur. He told me straight in the face, "Hey, June, like, you're too young to be successful. Like, you're too young and you need a proper mentor." I was like, "Why are you telling me all of that?" So I asked him, "Why are you telling me all of that? You just want me to stay, don't you, actually, as a sales rep?" It's like, "Yeah, I want you to stay." That's why I'm saying that. So he's trying to gaslight me, and I pointed it out, you know. That's why are you trying to gaslight me? But again, like, he doesn't probably give a fuck. But for me, it's like, I'm going to show you wrong. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Like, in the Korean word, there's this word called poisonous. Toki.
Yep.
Yatsuki tokada. Like, that guy's poisonous. It means that you're tenacious. You're so, like, you would never stop. You're so persistent that it's like poison.
I love that phrase.
I love that word so much. It's like I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you what I'm made of. So that's where I operate off. Like, he doesn't probably give a fuck also. And there's no point of me like, "Hey, look, you told me." He probably doesn't even remember. But for me, that's what I think of every day. But anyways, like, let's go back to the topic of, is objection handling manipulative? It is. It's very highly persuasive if you do it the right way. But will you get refunds? If you do it the wrong way, of course, yes. But another perspective I have is get refunds then. Get your refunds then. But I see that as a justification. Oh, you're going to get refunds, so don't do objection handling because you're going to get refunds. How the fuck does that make sense? The perspective of successful people is, despite of all of that, how do I make it work? Instead of because of XYZ, I won't make it work. Despite of me getting refunds, how do I make sure that I objection handle with someone and not get refunds anymore? That is a solution-oriented mindset. Come from that place, first of all. So you cannot say, yeah, you're going to get refunds, so don't objection handle with people. That's just a crutch. That's just a justification. How do you think?
Well, why do you think they even say that and act like that?
I mean, I see people who say that. I genuinely know, by the way, they don't know how to objection handle. Like, I'm being very direct. They just don't know how to do it. Sorry, they just don't know how to do it the right way. Because there's this human vibration. So check it out, guys, by the way. There's this thing called the human vibrational chart. So the lowest a human being can ever operate is guilt and shame. Guilt and shame. And the highest level of the highest level where a human being can operate is enlightenment, conviction, joy, peace. If you're guilt and shaming someone to buy, at the end of the day, they would give you a refund. That's not the right way. But if you're so skilled enough, like how you did, to empower that person to make a change and enlighten someone that they got more inside of them, that they can do more, then how would someone it's very hard for someone to give you, ask for a refund, basically. Because like you empowered that person. Of course, there's a lot of factors when it comes to refunds as well, right? The fulfillment, the onboarding process, it needs to be quick and tight also. But aside from all of that, you need to make sure that you're putting your prospect in a position of enlightenment, joy, and peace. That's where you want your prospects to operate. So your objection handling should be direct, right? Cutthroat, but also at the same time, it's coming from a place of empowerment. You got more inside you. You can do more. And one more thing that I want to add on is, should you objection handle with everyone? I believe no.
No?
I believe no. Should you objection handle with everyone? No. I mean, for example, if you're doing a mergers and acquisition deal like $35K or even like $3 million deal, yeah, I mean, they're process place, right? It's a longer sales cycle. So you don't necessarily have to objection handle like in your first call, straight up and talk about mindset with someone who's doing like $50 million a year, right? You don't have to. So is there a time and place? I mean, definitely, yes. But also at the same time, we got to look at the reality. Reality is most of the guys in the high ticket space, they're not selling investments or mergers and acquisitions. They're not selling that. They're selling a 5K, 10K program, which is like make more money, right? It's not even automation or anything. It's just like trading program or like done with you, done for you type of programs. If it's 5K, 10K, then it's just basically someone's 2 months, 3 months monthly wage. People can definitely take that risk. Like 10K and you're wiped out, it's your problem. Like you got to fix that then as a prospect, right? As a human being, if 5K, 10K can wipe you out, then you gotta change that. And how are you gonna change that? So again, to prevent refunds from happening, you gotta empower that person. Directly challenge the person, but empower the person. Coming from a place of you can do more. Why are you selling yourself short? Can you settle for this? What's the alternative if you settle though? Why can't you just not settle then? Then do it. Make the jump. So that way you're actually getting some, like, because objection handling, if you're like doing like, 30-day refund policy, so do it. There's a guarantee, so do it, right? Or there's a discount, so do it. Of course, that's another form of manipulation, but it's the lowest form of manipulation also. You're definitely going to get refunds for sure. Again, what's your thoughts?
I mean, there's external pressure, right? So I remember I was on a sales call with this guy, and then he was like, "Oh, but we have this like discount, we have this like a guarantee, yada yada yada." And I was like, "Dude, I don't give a fuck about the guarantee or like this and this and that, right?" So when you try to do it, it pushes people away more.
Yeah.
When you try to sell that way.
Yeah.
So that's like external factors. Like the best way is internal tension.
Yeah.
Them realizing, and then the thing is, I think a lot of reasons that people are either not objecting, they're afraid of doing it is because they're afraid of that uncomfortable conversation. But the fact of the matter is, change is uncomfortable. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So change is uncomfortable. Therefore, if we don't have that, then how are we supposed to have change? So how's the prospect gonna have change, right? Yeah. So in like the last 2 years, I think I've ever had 5 refunds and chargebacks. About 5 out of the however many sales I made, right? I think it was anywhere between 30 to 40 sales a month, something like that, right? Depending on deal size. And so compared to that, it's very minuscule, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect human being, so I've had people call me and complain. I've had that too, but very, very few, right? But oftentimes than not, the person was kind of on the fence. Because what are objections in the first place? Objections are simply concerns.
Yeah.
So whether it be time, money, fear, whatever it may be. So they have that, but they've had those objections for pretty much most the whole time they've had whatever the problem is. And so if you're not the one to actually help them overcome that, get out of their way and actually make a change, then they're stuck in the same spot. So not only do you not make any commissions, the business doesn't make money, and also the prospect, they're stuck with the same problem. Whether it be being overweight, whether it be not having enough money, so they can't feed their family. And so I think sales calls are a beautiful situations at times because you're literally changing someone on a 30 to 60 minute window.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. You know how long people go to therapy and interventions for? right? But we're trying to like change their behavior in like a matter of like 30, 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, is kind of crazy. Yeah. And also, I think it's because people see objection handling as this like combative kind of like, I gotta put on my boxing gloves on. I gotta, try to do the reframes kind of thing. But does it have to be that way? Not really.
Yeah.
You can literally have a chill back conversation. It's like, have you thought about this? What about this? Okay, what if that was wrong?
Yeah.
Right? And don't get me wrong, there are times to be more stern and actually challenge it. It's like, hey man, like what you're doing is like, how's it actually helping you? Like those tough conversations too. But a lot of times you're gonna have a chill back conversation, right? Yeah. Like I think the longest ever objection handling call I had was about like 3 hours, right? So, there were like multiple different instances. There was one time on like Christmas Eve, or I think it was Christmas Day, I had a sales call with them. It was a referral. And I was on the phone with them, and I think on the phone with like an hour and a half, right? So about like 20-minute discovery, like hour of like objection handling. And then I couldn't close it. So I followed up again, right? Called him the next day, didn't answer. Left text, didn't answer. Hey man, everything good? Starting to wonder if you got abducted by aliens or something, ... He's like, ha 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 ha, mate, that's funny. Called him immediately on the phone. Tried objection handling again for about 30, 60 minutes. Still couldn't close it. Do it again. And like I think the third call I closed it.
Yeah.
Right? And that was like an 8K, 8.5K pitch. Like
Savage.
But I had like multiple of those instances where people, they're kind of on the fence. They weren't sure if to do it. And later they thanked me. It's like, hey, bro, like I know I was a tough prospect, but thank you for doing that, because if you didn't really sit there, then I wouldn't have really made the change I did. Yeah. And the reason why I do that is because the first ever sales call I ever got on as me as a prospect was I had objections. I can't remember exact ones. I wasn't like too tough of a prospect. I was like 19 years old, and I was trying to buy this like personal development, dating, networking seminar kind of thing. It was in Vegas. It was like an in-person thing. So it was like a 2K thing. I was 19, living in a college dorm room, not even a bed, a fucking mattress. I don't even have a door. It's like curtains with like 2 other roommates. So I was living there, paying like $300 a month for rent, and I was sitting there on my carpet floor because I didn't have a desk. Yeah. On my Samsung PC. On Skype call, not even Zoom, on a Skype call. And I didn't even know it was a sales call, right? My friend said like, hey, you should talk to this guy. I was like, okay. And like, you know how it goes, right? And then he's like, all right, man, it's 2K. And literally like stars flashed by my eyes. And literally visually, I saw 2 paths on a fork road, right? One was, if I didn't do this, what would happen? If I did do this, what would happen? If I didn't do it, that town was like gloomy and like raining and like very dark. I was like, oh shit, that doesn't look good. If I did do it, it was like sunshine and rainbows, like unicorn flying by the sky. I was literally pulling out my hair. I was like, what should I do? I was literally like that. He gave me a bit of a pep talk. I don't even remember the exact conversation, but eventually I did it. And that program, I really believe that changed my life. Yeah. Because it was one of my first big investments. And then when I went to Vegas, at that time, Vegas, I heard, it's a bit of a shit show now. But at that time, Vegas was like, oh my, for the first time in my life, I saw like these big like city lights, like MGM Grand and like these. I was like, holy shit, there's a whole nother world out there. So not only did I learn how to get better at talking to people, but the biggest thing is the same effect when I got to Dubai, when you got to Dubai. I was like, oh fuck, there's a whole nother world out there. Yeah. So from there, I was like, okay, like let me get after it. So, but if he did an objection handle, bro, like, I don't know. Like, would I have eventually like stumbled upon the online world to try to figure it out? Maybe, but I say probably not likely, because like that was the first catalyst. And so I try to do that with other people too. Like when I'm on a call with them, it's like, dude, like I've been there. I get that you have that fear. I was in your chair, right? These are language I learned from Marco Cortese. So when you use words like, hey, I've been there, I've been in your chair, I've been in your shoes, what that does is, number one, it shows empathy without being too like sympathetic about it. And number two, it increases your authority, because I've been there, that applies that you were there, but you overcame it. So it increases your status without being too condescending about it. So if you use those words, you don't want to overcook it, but like sprinkle like here and there, right? It's like, dude, I've been there, I get it. But what's the alternative? If you use those languages, then it's like, okay, cool. It kind of like eases them up a little bit. And then now they feel like, okay, I need to take this guy's lead, and then they move forward.
Is that why you cannot give up on prospects? Is that why you keep on going for like 2 hours, 3 hours?
I mean, there's different reasons for it. Like that's one, but like another reason is sometimes I find it fun, which is kind of weird, you know? So I just sit there. It's like, we'll just have a chat about it. And don't get me wrong, when you're back-to-back calls, like 8 calls in a row, you can kind of get like stressed out. You're like, right? Which is why like calendar management is also another thing. So I would recommend like having 4 calls in a row booked, and then I would have like 1 hour blocked off, not for not working, But what I would do is like 10-minute lunch, and then for the other 50 minutes, I would do follow-ups instead of a book call. Because I found that when you're in like a Zoom call, like video call, it's like you have to sit down. It seems like more like takes more energy. But what I do is like I do in the power dialer in the CRM. I just let it ring. It's like only audio only. I'm walking around my living room, kind of like cooling off a little bit, even though I'm still working. So I do that, and then when I hop on it's like first half and second half, right? Like sports game, first half and second half, and then I have like four more calls after that. So I found that if you do that, it's like it kind of eases up a little bit. And also having a life outside of sales too. Because if your only life is you inside of four walls on a Zoom screen having sales conversations all day, no normal conversations, then yeah, you'll be more tense. Because I've been there, right? See what we did there? I've been there, right? So what I realized was when I started to have more of a life, like going on an occasional like date or two, right? Don't get me wrong, there are times to lock in, right? There's different seasons in life, right? This is what most people don't talk about. There's different seasons in life. There are times to like what the cool kids call it nowadays, monk mode, which is you lock in and basically you're like focusing on work, bang out work, right? And then you're banging it out. You're working a skill development. You're calling leads. You're like banging them out, right? Focused. And there are times more maintenance mode, which is like, okay, like do that. And also maybe you go to like dinner after that. Chill mode is more like you're taking like less calls and like you're like traveling around Europe and doing kind of shit. Yeah. So I think it's good to understand that, because I think another reason why high ticket closers burn out, quote unquote, is because they don't see it. Usually because number one, they forget why they're doing what they're doing. Number two is they don't see an end in sight. So Matt Ryder talked about this with people in special forces. If you don't see an end in sight, you'll feel more tired and fatigued. Yeah. Even though you may not be working a whole lot, because you're like, when is this gonna end? I remember when I was in the military, we were doing a march, right? Part of basic training. And it was, I can't remember the exact like how long. I think we were walking for like literally the whole day, like 8 or like 10 hours for the whole day with like equipment on our back, right? And you know, a lot of people, they're like, oh, dude, like, when is this gonna end? So, like, they felt more tired. But if we had, like, when is this gonna end? Like, we knew exactly, like, how much we have to go. Like, we have, like, a GPS or something, right? Like, on Uber app or, like, on a metro station. Then like, we're like, oh, like, okay, that's it. So, it's good to understand, like, what's the actual plan, right? Like, a lot of people don't want to be on the phones for the rest of their life, like, be a high-ticket closer. Maybe they want to get into management, right? Maybe they want to start a business. Maybe they want to become CEO of the company, CRO. Maybe they want to become another sales trainer. Yeah. Welcome to the world, right? Doesn't matter what they want to do, but if you understand it, I think is helpful for people, because like, okay, like I know why I'm doing it now. For this season, I'm doing this. I'm an appointment setter now, then I'm going to be a closer, and then management, CRO, CEO, so on and so forth. Okay, fantastic, right? But if you don't understand, you're like, when is this going to end?
And for you, like coming back to the objection handling portion of it, is logic trapping someone so bad, so manipulative?
Depends on what logic trap is. But someone asked this question of like, would you do this to your mother? And I'm like, depending on the situation, but yes. Depending on what it is. So imagine your friend, your dear best friend he's a good dude, and then all of a sudden shoots like heroin up his ass, right? And his life's going down to shit. Would you try to objection handle him? I would do it. You know?
Wow.
I'll be very rough.
Why?
Because, well, let's say I don't objection handle, right? Because I want to be Mr. Nice Guy. It's unethical. Well, dude, your friend's going to fucking go to shit, bro.
Why do you care, though?
I don't want that. Because I care about that person, right? I think there's another good point, too. I know we're going on different tangents here, but I found that when you talk to the prospects, like as if they're a person in your life that you actually care about, I found that like the calls go really well, a lot better. Because you're going to be more curious or concerned, even in discovery, even before the objection handling, they're going to talk about a problem. I had this one incident when I was in Korea. I was hanging out with my friend and my homegirl, and she's like 8 years or like 9 years older than me. Someone I really care about, like beautiful soul, beautiful human being. And she was talking about, she works a 9 to 5, and she was talking about like, oh, Brian, like you're traveling around the world, like having this freedom. Like I want to do that too. I was like, okay, like why do you want to do that? Because right now I don't like my job. And I was like, why don't you like your job? It's so funny. I literally felt like I was selling BizOp during that moment. Why don't you like your job? And she's like, oh, you know, because, you know, like, I just feel like I'm in like a bird in a bird cage. What do you mean? Oh, you know, because, you know, like sometimes I'll go travel during like my vacation, but I have to come back and I'm in my cubicle and like some people telling me what to do. It's very stressful. What do you mean stressful? Oh, it's just, you know, like, it's just stressful. Like I want to travel, but I can't. How long have you been feeling this way? The whole time, 5 years. Yeah. But me coming off concerned, she was opening about different things, but like I came off more concerned because I was concerned because it was like someone I really care about.
Wow, so manipulative.
I know.
Like digging into pain like that.
That's
so
another
intrusive.
thing. That's another good topic too, right? Someone says like, yeah, but isn't showing concern and like having a script, isn't that acting, isn't that fake, isn't that unethical? Is it? I don't know. Is it being concerned like so manipulative and so unethical?
Like, I saw a comment the other day. It was like, you cannot care more about the prospect than they do about their own well-being. I disagree.
Why?
If I hear about their story about like 2 kids, they're not spending time with the family, like they're not spending time with their dad, it just literally just reminds me of my dad. It's like coming back to the question of would you objection handle with your mom or dad? If my dad was alive, 100%, 100%. I wish someone objection handled with him. I wish he added up. I wish he actually knew there was another way, really. So for me, if I see a dad or a mom and the 2 kids are not like, or the kids are not spending time with them, I go the extra mile. I'm like, I'm not letting you go. I'm not like, you hang up on me, but I'm not letting you go. Because my dad, I believe that he deserved one time in his life to be objection handled by someone. Like literally, my dad is one of the strongest, strictest person I ever know. But I would go the extra mile. Even though I'm scared, I would. Because, like I said, my dad passed away because he never drove. He never smoked or drank or did any. He was a very religious and God-fearing man. He was one of the most honest men also I've ever known. I hated God for like 3 years, literally.
Yeah.
He was like he's one of the most honest men you can know. Like, why do you take him? He's never really done anything bad also. He doesn't even smoke. He doesn't even drink. He doesn't go to bars. He doesn't do any of the bullshit. He's like a God-fearing man. I was like, anyways, up to this point, it's like he was just stuck in his work 7 days a week, like 12 hours a day. Just didn't know another way. If he actually got on a call with me today and I saw a situation, right? Like, he's not getting on the phone call. He is not getting off the phone call. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get him off the line because I know for a fact he's going to be a hard prospect, by the way. He's very stubborn. Choi's are stubborn, by the way. And I got that stubbornness from my dad. But, like, again, even though he's stubborn, even though he's one of the most scariest men I've ever known, I'm going to go the extra mile because I don't want another June in this world, you know? So you could be like, the people that are selling, like, for example, mergers and acquisitions or investments, right, to like millionaires, for example, like these bro closers, like I did objection handle, like I mean, bro, like that's another context. Like I said, most of the high tech closers are selling programs that change people's lives. Fitness, for example, right? Diet, like changing diet metabolic system to get less diabetes or whatever it is, or making more money so that they can spend more time with family. Again, like also the fact is you still survived. There's a Korean saying that it's like, it's not the strongest that survives, it's the survivor that is strongest. Like, you've done the program. Was it the best program? I've done a program also, a course, like 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Sifu. Yeah, I've done a course, but was it the best course? No, but it changed the whole directory of my life. At the end of the day, I figured it out. Like, we've both figured it out ultimately, right? Did it cost us more money? Yes. But without that course, I would have, it's a shit course, by the way. It's a shit course. But that opened my eyes to different possibilities and got me to where I'm at right now. Yesterday was my last day with my brother, and I had to send him back to Korea. I flew him out to Dubai, actually, for 3 days. He came from Korea. He never really had a passport. Even before, he never really traveled. And then yesterday, like, it got me emotional while we were having dinner. We were having dinner together, right, in a really good restaurant. And he was like, he asked my baby brother, hey, like, what is your dream? And he said, my dream is to be like my brother. I was like,
that was a wholesome moment, man.
Yeah, I was like, I almost cried actually. It's like, because I always ask the question of who do you want to be remembered as by your family? And that's who I want to be remembered as. And I was like, wow, this is a dream come true moment for me. Not only just bringing him over, but like just being told that. But also at the same time, I objection handled with my baby brother for a whole entire year. He never listened.
Just like you, man.
Just like me, never listened. But I objection handled because I knew he could do more. For example, one of our artist friends also, I was like, objection handling with him every single day. Hey, you can do it. Making 8K a month passively right now, or 7K a month passively. And you had objections also in your life. You're like, hey, can I do this, June? Like, I feel like an imposter. I told you the same thing. We both overcame our own objections, like talking with each other, right? If you really care, like we always go the extra mile. So, and coming back to the topic of also logic trapping, is that bad? Why do logic traps happen in the first place? Because my logic makes sense. Your logic doesn't make sense. That's why it feels like a trap. That's why it feels like a trap. What's the alternative? Like spending less time with family or spending more time with family? What are you going to talk about in your deathbed? So of course it feels like a logic trap. But the reason why it feels like a logic trap, the reason why it feels manipulative is because you know I'm right. You know deep down your higher standards will tell you that the person that's 6 months later down the road making $20K a month, spending like 4 hours a week, spending like more time with family, that person is going to be like, yeah, you're logically flawed right now to do all this bullshit, to work in a job for 12 hours, 7 days a week. It's logically flawed. It's logically flawed because logically it makes more sense to in your deathbed to tell your parents or tell your kids, hey, I'm glad that I was able to spend as much time with you guys. That just logically makes sense. Unless you're a psychopath, I don't know. So it does feel like a logic trap.
Yeah.
But logically, what makes more sense at the end of the day? What makes more sense is, operating based on your higher standard. And if you don't grow, you die. If you don't grow, that's what Tony Robbins says. We're like plants. If you don't grow, we're dying. So if you don't have the other person grow, or if you don't have the other person be in an uncomfortable situation, making uncomfortable decisions, you're letting that person die, literally, right? And I know one more thing is I know sales trainers say I know a few sales trainers that's like super rude to the prospect. It's like, hey, you're not saying no to me, or you're not saying no to the program. You're saying no to yourself. Like I'm like, I don't like that language pattern. First of all. Like just because someone didn't buy a program, you're saying no to your whole entire family. That's a little fucked up in my mind. But also at the same time, I do kind of agree to just a little bit because I cannot let that person die. I cannot let that person be like my father or have another June in their lives also. I would never end the conversation that way. Never say that, by the way. I would open up doors. Like I would say something like, hey, it's my bad for not being the leader enough to get you out of your own way because I know you got it inside you. I know. But I was the leader enough. So it's not you, it's my bad, by the way. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my leadership skills up to help the next person up, right? But would you be open for me to actually give you some materials and keep you accountable the next 1 or 2 days still and keep in contact with you? I would end the conversation that way respectfully, never be like, you're saying no to your family, by the way. And brutally, I would never do that. But also at the same time, it's like, I cannot let the other person say no to their family though. Because I've been there also. I'm a victim of it.
Yeah. First of all, good on June. We were having dinner last night at a good restaurant in Dubai. Good view, like Burj Khalifa, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, man, like what an example. I told your little brother, he's like, dude, like none of your friends have a brother like you. You just don't, you know? Like June flies his brother out, pays for everything, gives him his card, June's credit card, to pay for like anything. Hey, go spend it. What a good brother.
He was like, he'll be like messaging me, hey June, hey brother, hey big bro, can I spend it on like this? And 20 minutes later, because I would have responded because I'm on calls, right, or coaching calls, and then 20 minutes later, hey, I just bought it.
Never mind.
Why are you asking in the first place? Yeah. So I asked, why are you asking? No, I just wanted to show you that I'm still asking.
Yeah. It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. Yeah.
But I remember I was doing a training call with this fitness business. And then the business owner's like, Brian, like our reps keep saying like the leads are bad. They have a bad mindset. I was like, oh no shit. If I was talking to that rep, I would have been like, well, no shit, Sherlock. That's why they're prospects. And that's why they have the problems they have. Otherwise, they wouldn't be prospects. They would have fixed their problem. So whose job is it to help them get outside of their comfort zone, take responsibility to actually do something about fixing their problem? Yours. It's why we have a job, all right? That's another thing with like hey, become an inbound closer, remote closer, sideway closer, and you'll make $10K a month within 90 days, master sales. All you got to do is talk to warm leads, answer a few questions, read the script, and Gucci. It's not how it works. It's just not how it works. And because of that, and listen, like it may not be people's fault, right? But also whose responsibility is to fix it? Also ours, right? So it may not be your fault that you got that marketing message. However, now you know. So now we can do something about it, right? So it's literally our job to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
So that's one incident. And I don't know, like I kind of get excited when like during like a discovery, I see people do this too. Like whenever like the prospect is a little bit of like resistance or like a little bit of like reluctancy, they'll just end the call. Like for example, like the prospect is like, yeah, I just been burned before, yada yada yada. It's like, I'm just tight on money. It's like, oh, okay, so what we'll do from here? I don't think you're a good fit, so I'll just send you some material and just feel free to reach out when you're ready. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? The fuck you doing? Like, and like their offer rate, I don't know why that's still a thing. Their offer rate's like 40%, 50%. And then they claim their close rate's like 60%, 50% based on offers made. I'm like, do you care more about like the numbers, like the stat padding, or do you care about actually like having more money in your bank account and helping more people? I'm like, what's your priority here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And again, so it may not be your fault, but like you know now. So like I actually kind of get excited when a prospect gives a little bit of like limiting beliefs, like a mindset issue.
Yeah.
So if they say something like, like I tried different programs before, but like none of these programs worked. Da 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 da. I'm just like, well, what do you mean? Were other people getting results? Like, yeah, but I don't let them get to the but. Okay, if other people got results, then what do you feel held you back from getting results from the same program? And they start blinking. My work got busy. Yada yada yada. Oh, time out. Can I help you with that? Or, just me and you, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, we all have 24 hours in a day. So why is that some people still get things done and some people don't? They're like, well, I don't know. They have da-da-da-da. Well, if I can pause you for there, could it be possible that we all have the time? Is that we're not making the time for things that are important? Because when you say you don't have time, we're not saying we don't have time. We're saying we don't have time for that. Right? So if you consider that you doing that has actually caused you to be paycheck to paycheck, be frustrated. And your family not getting what they deserve. They're like, well, I guess. Yeah. So like, what do you feel like needs to change within yourself regarding your responsibility? That way you don't have to keep being paycheck to paycheck. They're like, oh, I guess I need to make the time. You need to, or you actually, like, are you actually willing to? It's like, yeah, I'm willing to. Okay, but why? Because, all right, cool.
I guess, or also. Right?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you logic trap that person? How dare you logic trap that person?
Terrible.
Like, terrible. Because in our school community, I think like we focus on different aspects. We.
Because Jun's going to Paris. We.
You told me to go to Paris, and then you're in Dubai. I'm like, dude, why am I going to Paris for?
Jun, what are we doing? We should be in a podcast studio in Paris right now, not in Dubai.
I don't even want to go to Paris. I'm going to Paris for you. And they're like, June, I cannot say Paris. I know I love Paris, but I gotta get locked in. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm going to Paris for you.
Locked in jail because I logic trapped too many people.
Yeah. How dare you? But in your school community, you talk about prevention objections also. I talk about prevention objections. We focus on different aspects of me talking about offers, you talking about like activities also. But one thing that I find different is the style also, the style difference. And when you're role playing on yourself like that, bring
Sexy
your dildo
time.
with you, No, role playing with yourself, I was laughing because I love it so much. Because like basically when someone says I'm too busy, externalizing responsibility, external language. I'm too busy. I didn't have the right support in the program, right? Or my partner was unsupportive. There are people that use those reasons to not make themselves successful, and there are people that use those exact same reasons to be successful. Because of me being busy, I wasn't able to make it work. There's that one type of person, and there's other type of person that says, because of me being busy, I had to make it work. Or there's another thing. It's like I like to change someone's perspective from because of to despite of, right? It's the same thing. Because of me being busy, I wasn't able to make it work. Despite of me being busy, I was able to make it work. It's two different language patterns, but it's how you talk to yourself that gets you the results, right? For example, because of my parents, I wasn't able to make it work, right? If someone says that, well, is that one you want to tell it to your parents later down the road? Because of you guys, I wasn't able to make it work? Or do you think they deserve something like, because of you guys, I was able to make it work? Because of you guys. Because I care about you guys. Even though you didn't really support me. Because of you guys, I wanted to make it work. I needed to make it work. Which one do they deserve at the end of the day? Right? Or because of my brother's college tuition, I had to just stay in the job. You tell your brother 10 years later down the road, hey, I had to give up on my dreams because I had to pay for her tuition. How would your brother feel? Okay. If your brother feels that way, then what do you need to do differently? What internal dialogue do you need to tell yourself? because of XYZ, because of you, I was able to make it work. Or despite of all of this, I still made the time to make it work. I still made it work because of you at the end of the day. Because I care about you, right? It's two different language patterns also. And how does it relate to objection handling? It's the same thing also. It's like, hey, you want to tell yourself this because of despite of at the end of the day, right? We all got reasons not to make it work. Those are exact same reasons to make it work. For example, you tell me, hey, like, June, I don't have the money. I mean, obviously, even if they do, regardless of whether they do have the money or not have the money, they're going to tell you that. Because why? They've been always telling themselves, I don't have the money for groceries. I don't have the money to invest. I don't have the money to do stocks. I don't have money to be like Mark Cuban. Like that's their internal dialogue the whole entire time. So of course the price drops. They're going to tell you what? Whether they have the money or not, whether it's true or not, they're going to tell you what? I don't have the money. Natural. Fucking natural. That's why I'm in the call with you in the first place. Well, is that all the reason? And I'll just literally say, hey, can I be direct with you? Is that all the reason why we're here on the conversation here today? How much longer do you want to tell yourself that you don't have the money to do the things that you want to do? I'm not talking about the mentorship, the program alone, but you telling yourself or you telling your family that you don't have the money to support them to its fullest, to retire them. How much longer do you want to tell yourself that that is expensive or you don't have the money to do that? Then can we talk about, instead of talking about problems, lack of something, can we talk about, despite of lack of something, how do you get it work? Can we talk about problem solution strictly then and have that conversation then here?
Yeah. I think people have a tough time overcoming objections because they buy into their own limitations.
Yep.
So they think the objections are valid.
Oh, we're getting yellow ooh here.
Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. I mean,
terrible.
There's skill set and like another part is like, it's not mindset. It's just like simple as like you buy into your own limitations or not. Because if you think that like someone needs to like go get their partner's permission to like make a decision on their own fucking life, like starting a business, like for me, that is like completely, I don't care. It's like, bro, I'm already married. I don't give a if I'm married or not. If I'm married, I have to go talk to this is going to be controversial. If I'm married and I have to go talk to my partner to get permission to like spend $5,000 to start a business or get better with my health, then my partner should fucking divorce me.
Yep.
Because what a pussy am I being? I'm not going to say that to the prospect, but I have that extreme intensity and belief. Therefore, I'm not going to call them a pussy, but I'm going to sit there and help them take responsibility for their own success.
Logically, my previous relationships, right? But logically, there was one previous relationship where she was like telling me, hey, like June, like, I mean, we weren't even married or engaged or anything. I mean, we were pretty serious. We were very, very serious, by the way, but we weren't married or anything. But she was like telling me like, hey, June, like, you have to tell me about your financial decisions and everything. I was like, do you know anything about business? Respectfully though, do you know anything about business? Because Sifu didn't unlock. Sifu said, whoever's advice you're listening to, you're living their lives.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Respectfully, I cannot live your life because you're the woman of the house. You got your own duties. And I don't know why this is controversial. 2024. Fuck you guys. Anyways, and where's my glasses? Where's my shades?
June Tate part 2.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a woman also. Like, do what woman is best because I respect you. And my mom is 100% like she's a single mother. She took care of her career and she took care of me. I never missed a meal, by the way.
Amazing.
She would always cook me 4 meals. I'm a big guy, and 2 kids also. She'd do all of that. She's a woman also. But again, like I have so much respect for women, but also at the same time, well, if you're a woman, that makes, for example, if my goal currently right now is 100K a month. If you're a woman that makes 100K a month, heck yeah, I would listen to your advice. I would definitely pay attention. Be like, okay, tell me what. But if you're not making the money that I want to be making, right? If you're making the same amount of money or even way less, which usually 100% of the time they make way less than me anyways, right? If you're making way less, you got no say. I'm sorry, you got no say. It's not that I don't respect you. It's just like I cannot afford to live your life because I got people that I need to take care of. I got a brother to fly out. Right? I got a mother that I need to take care of also. I got to take care of my own self also. I want to get you guys in the best position possible as friends also, right? Buy you guys like nice places also. So it's like, I'm sorry, I cannot listen to your advice. But also at the same time, coming again, like sticking to the topic, it's like, that's why I objection handle. Because listen to my advice. I've been there. I've been in your shoes. Like you say, I've been in your shoes. I know how it feels. It's tough. You might not even make it in the first 1 year. I never made it in the first 11 months of my career. It was tough. I know. But it's better than doing nothing though. Because if you don't grow, you're going to die. If you don't grow, you're dying. You're what? you think it's gonna be easier when you get married and get 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids. As time goes by, it's only gonna get harder. It's only fucking gonna get harder, really. So if you have the chance, do it right now. Wow, I'm so manipulative, or am I not?
Terrible.
I'm just so coercive, so like arm twisting, right? That's what the white knight. While the white knight's there in the bar, being like, oh, like I'm such a gentleman, I'm such a nice guy. Look at all these bad guys. The bad guys getting the girl out to the club and just going somewhere else, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
In the podcast.
Yeah. Well, such is life.
But I still want to ask you: is logic trapping someone really that bad?
I mean, like logic trap. Actually,
What's your definition of logic trap? First of all, then
it's like you're trapping. Like it even sounds bad, right? Logic trap. Like you trap them to a logic. I mean, I don't know. But I'll say this though. Oh, I remember. So with the partner thing too, if someone says, "Hey, I want to talk to my partner just to get their thoughts on it," like I want to talk to my wife just to get their thoughts on it. Hey, I want to talk to my friend just to get their thoughts on it. Right. So if they say like spouse, and I know like with like 90% certainty that like, for example, let's say you sell trading, for example, that's a hot topic these days, and they want to be a successful trader making like 20 grand a month, right? So we can probably assume, I know it's bad to assume in sales, but with a good percentage, we can know that their wife is probably not a successful trader making 20 grand a month, right? Especially if you have that information. So I'd be like, yeah, for sure. I mean, what kind of information were you helping to get like talk about with your wife? Like what thoughts? So yeah, you know, just to see if I should do it, da-da-da. Right. Is your wife a successful trader making 20 grand a month? They're like, no. So does it really make sense that you try to get advice and thoughts from someone who hasn't gotten the results that you want? Because if you get the result, and if you get the advice from that person, then you're basically going to be like that person.
yeah.
They're like, I guess you're right.
Would you get dating advice from a virgin, from an otaku?
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what I do all the time. Actually, that's what I do all the time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Getting my thoughts on it. It's like, but also at the same time, your word track just right now, I love it. Because the mistake that I see from a lot of closers is they know that, like some decent closers out there that memorize their word tracks, they're good. They somehow understand like challenging someone, but what they always miss out is before you challenge someone, always seek to understand first. Seek to understand. And what I love about that word track just right now is that what information do you want to get out of by talking with a person? You didn't go straight into objection handling because the moment you contradict someone right off the gate, they feel stupid. And when they feel stupid in the human vibrational chart, right? They feel stupid, they feel shame or guilt. You're putting them on a status that they cannot even make decisions from there. So I love that fact. You seek to understand first. Like just diffusing, right? Diffusing, and then you just went straight into understanding. Oh, let me understand your situation first of all. And then you were being like, oh, would you take dating advice from a virgin? You didn't even go straight to that. You build up your question enough to get equity enough to really just challenge that person. Be like it's like a jab hook, really. I love that word trap.
Yeah. Clarify first.
Clarify first, always. And always seek to understand first of all. For example, when someone says, I don't have the money. Okay, well, what's coming up for you that makes you say you don't have the money also, right? Is it just a logical thing or it's just like a fear thing, right? Or a hesitancy thing?
Yeah.
Or it's more like, or if someone says, I'm not comfortable making a decision like that, where's that way of thinking coming from? Just so I understand, just so I can help. If I can help, I'll help. If I cannot, I cannot, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
By the way, like make money offers unless I'm selling to like business owners that like pretty much they have the money. But if it's like biz op, like the typical things, then I almost assume that they don't have the money. Yeah. Not in a bad way, but in a way that like they say like, hey Brian, listen, like I want to do this, but I don't have the money. Or, like money's tight. And depending on the relationship I have with that person, the way I sell was like quite direct. So I'd be like, I was like, bro, I know you don't have the money. The question is, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Right. So like, don't take this out of context because the people watching like they're gonna like try this. But like, if the way you do your discover is like so like timid and like passive, and you try to do this, they're gonna be like, this guy's a dick. But the reason why like I was able to do that was because I was like, in the beginning I'm playful, right? I'm kind of like joking around. Hey man, like what's going on? Yeah, cool, awesome, dude. Like what are you trying to do? Awesome. And then like I'll do like politically incorrect jokes and things like that. Yeah, man, I'm trying to like, you know, fill up some holes. I mean, like, dude, my girl said the same thing, but like, what do you mean by that? Yeah. Right? I'll do shit like that. And so like they're like, ha 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 ha, right? And you know, I kind of like challenge them, like, oh, dude, what if that wasn't true? Right? I challenge them, and so because of that, at the end, if they give like a money objection, it was like, well, bro, like I know you don't have the money because you told me. But the question is, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? Right? So when you do that, when you go from that place, because when you set the expectations high, disappointment gets bigger, right? I think the reason why people go to Paris or New York, and a lot of people hate it, is because they have their expectations high. Oh, like New York City, like this beautiful bam, 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 and like Paris is like this romantic city. They go there, it's like, oh, like there's like rats here. So the disappointment gets bigger. Because like if you look at other cities, it's not like that, right? So same thing here. If you think like, oh, I'm gonna close this deal, oh, like this person's gonna buy it, they're like, then now like your disappointment gets bigger.
Yeah.
And then now you look flustered and end up losing that sale.
You know, actually a funny thing that I teach to my school community guys, but also tell myself also. Ironically, when someone gives you an objection, I just think that the deal is lost at that point. It's just for my peace of mind. I just think that the deal is lost because I probably didn't pre-handle it the 100% the right way. So I just think that the deal is lost. It gives you a lot of peace of mind. Just like mull the courage over and just be like, okay, the deal is already lost. Let me talk a bit more also. The deal is already lost in the first place anyways. It's not a deal anymore. It's like it starts from it's now a little bit of uphill battle here. But also at the same time, you're right. You need to build enough equity before in the discovery and in the pitch also to make sure that when you're objection handling, like there's nuance to it, right? It's like we talked about this before, right? There was one instance where was my pre-handling sequence and everything, right? And first of all, when I pre-handle someone, it's coming from my direct belief system also. I have a word track behind it, but I genuinely believe that word track. And then when I pre-handle someone, like the real objection was already exposed. He stayed in his comfort zone for too long. What does it cost you? How are you planning to overcome that way of thinking? So he overcame it himself already in the first 10 minutes. And then he gave me an objection saying like, hey, June, I need to think about it for 48 hours or something like that, 24 hours. So I was like, not a problem. Where's that way of thinking coming from? Just so I can know. He paused for like 5 seconds. Oh, we did talk about this, didn't we?
No.
No. He said, the process said, oh, we did talk about this, didn't we? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to do it, bro. You don't have to. No, we got to do it. We got to do it now. I asked a question, and then just that's how we nuances, right? Right. There are two other incidents. And I do this quite often nowadays. I don't know why, but I think I'm just playful enough to do that. I'm like, so what? I don't have the money. So what? Don't pull this off, by the way. Don't do this. Like, what was that? Like this disclaimer or whatever, right? I just be like, so what? Or there are other instances where I'm like, okay, gonna give up then? Did you come this far? Just come this far?
Kim Kardashian. I didn't come this far. You don't know that?
I don't know that.
There was like a famous clip of like, I didn't come this far. Just to come this far.
I love that phrase though. Yeah. You didn't come this far, just come this far though. I love that phrase. I say that also. There are two phrases that I love. You didn't come this far, just come this far. How do we make sure we solve this once and for all? Once and for all, it applies to a lot of things. That we will get you where you need to go. I have full conviction in my program that I sell. I know the track record behind it. So you didn't come this far. Like we are the program that can get you to where you need to go if you just put in the work. So let's figure this out once and for all. It's also a belief system thing because my mom always told me if you're gonna do something, do it the right way once for all. 할 거면 제대로 해, 한 번에. That's what she said in Korean all the time. That means if you're gonna do it, just do it the right way once for all. That's my belief system. So of course I'm gonna be like, how do you make sure we fix this once for all then? Once and for all, where money doesn't become a problem for you.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. What can you do though? Today. 6 months, 12 months, 24 months down the road that you're thanking yourself right now. Because I'm thanking myself 6 years. If you're thanking yourself like the dating program that you bought, like it wasn't the best program? No. But you're thanking yourself that you've done it. Like, I'll be straight up. Like, Seafood Dan, like his sales course is absolute shit. I might get sued.
Seafood's crying.
Seafood's crying. I'm sorry, your course is shit though. Your course is shit. You're the guy that teaches like, I'll think about it. And then what was the word track? I'll think about it. Well, when people say they need to think about it, they usually say it usually means a no. Is that the case here? That's the word track. I'm like, it's not the best word track. It's not the best word track. And I was like, wow, that is so cool back in the days. Anyways, but I'm still grateful for him. I'm still grateful. Like, I mean, he's the one that, because before then I was totally lost. Like you and I both know when we were growing up in Korea, like we're thinking like if you don't get into college, our life is doomed.
Yep.
Our life is doomed. And we didn't get into the best colleges, right? We didn't get into the best.
I can't even pronounce your fucking college name, bro. I never heard of the college ever.
I sometimes forget the name. I don't even.
You don't even
right now.
remember.
I don't even remember right
Yeah.
now. It was some Bible college and it was in the countryside or whatever. I failed in school miserably. But anyways, it was like, where was I?
I'll say this with make money offers. Another thing, let's just say like I don't have the money. Why don't you have the money? Because I'm in my 9-to-5 job. Why are you in a 9-to-5 job? Because I don't know how to start a business. Why don't you know how to start a business? Because I don't have the skills. So what should you do to fix that? Do the program? Maybe. I don't know. Should I do it now? Yes.
Should I do it now? I'm just like straight up 0.01. Like, yes, do it.
Yeah.
Like, it comes from a place of I know how to objection handle. First of all, I know like literally you're not getting off the phone call. First of all, and second of all, people butcher with some fancy lines like, "You don't have to if you don't want to. We could just be like just say yes and deal with the consequences later down the road." And you'd be surprised. Yeah. People get over the line. Okay, should I do this now? Yes. Like be so casual. People usually do this on the call 100% of the time. Just people do it on the call. So casual, yes. Be like, okay, I'll go get my credit card. Then it's like,
oh,
like you'd be fucking surprised if you did the call the right way in the first like 10, 20 minutes and the pitch's done and perfectly everything done.
Yeah.
Should I do this right now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just body language, subcommunicating. Hey, that's a normal process.
Yeah.
Everyone does it like that. Yeah. They're like, okay, I'll go get my credit card then.
Okay.
That's what happens, really.
Yeah. When I was taking Cole's program, there was a coach named David Davidson. And he was telling this one time where he was a sales rep. And he was selling like the coach offers, like helping people like in a 9-to-5 life, like start a coaching business. And then the prospect was, David was asking, so like, like what's your offer? Like, what are you going to sell? What are you going to do a coaching business about? And he's like, I survived cancer. And so what I do is I don't cure cancer, but what I do is I really slow down that time and I give them like more time to live. And David's like, and you can prove this? She's like, yes. Like I've done this with this person, da, da, da. And David's like, in his head, he's like, all right, I am not getting off this phone until this woman buys so she can start a coaching business so she can actually help these people with cancer. And he said, if the internet goes out, I will find out this woman's address, show up at her fucking door, and make sure she buys the program so she can start a coaching business and help more people. And I really like that mentality. And I think there's a big distinction here. We're not saving babies, right? We're not their Lord and Savior. We're not going to do it for them. And it's ultimately their decision and their life and their responsibility. I will say this, right? Someone says like, dude, your life, your goals, your parents out, you want to retire, not mine. Right? I'm here to help you, but you got to be the one doing the work. So I always say that because it's true, right? But I like that intensity. So it's a combination of both, right? Like there's no like that's the thing about life is there's no like black or white kind of thing. It's like okay, it's kind of the gray area where like have that intensity at the same time, like it's their life. So you got to be the one to just like help them over the line, And if let's say like you don't close that deal, yes, the thing we talk about is like. We want to get that done on the call. After that, like almost like imagine the sale is over. However, the sale is not over. So what you do is you still want to do your follow-ups, right? And you want to keep moving them forward. There's like one deal I closed recently for my own offer, and it was a 10K deal. And the person they ghosted me for like 6 or 7 times consecutively, right? So I call them, no answer. Call them, no answer. Call them, no answer. Everything good. Starting to wonder if he got abducted by aliens or something. ... Nothing. Call them again, and they finally responded. And then after that, and then I closed it on that call, right? Yeah. So people just give up too soon. If I haven't done my follow-ups, then I would have lost at least 70 grand last year.
Yeah.
And it's not me pulling the numbers out of my ass. I know based on my tracker because I know how much percentage is my Wonka closes, how much percentage is my follow-up closes, how much percentage is my upsells and my renewals.
Yeah.
And based on that, I would have lost out on 70 grand if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's someone's salary.
Yeah. I don't believe in the closers for not following up because that's what the industry standard is like inbound closing and no leads, lead flow dying, and you just have to do nothing and just finding another offer is also one way of being productive and proactive also, right? But also at the same time, there's unconscious incompetence. You just didn't know, I could actually follow up and make money. But guess what? After you watch this video, now you know. What are you going to do about it then?
Nothing.
Right?
Too hard. Too much effort.
Too much effort. It takes.
I gotta memorize my script, June. I gotta memorize a sales script. Too much effort.
takes only like 24 hours.
I gotta call leads? Dude, I wanna go on a walk.
You want to go on a massage?
I wanna get a massage. It's too much work, man. I want it to be inbound closer, not a sales professional.
I got into a negotiating on a management position. It's already like the agreement signed and everything. I've already hired my own closer also to train and everything.
yeah.
And what happened with this account is that a month ago, they opened up your calendar. So they have a calendar link and 8,000 leads just booked straight in. It's it's a very strong influencer, by the way, 18 million followers. So he drove all the traffic. And then what happened was Calendly, the service shut down because of that, because of so many leads. So now they transitioned the model into outbound closing, which is like dialing people. Like back in the days, in the first beginning, when I was starting with my legal law firm, was like if there's a lead coming up, opted in and put in their information, like just 0.01 second, you call that lead right away. Because I mean, obviously, as time goes by, what happens? Buying temperature drops. So me and my friends, me and my guys that were working back then, kudos to you guys, by the way. We're just like calling them in 1 call closing or 2 call closing or anything like that, right? But what I'm trying to say here is the market is shifting from inbound to now outbound now.
Oh.
A lot of it. That's what I'm seeing also. Yes, are there solid inbound closing opportunities? Yes. But also at the same time, now it's the whole market, I believe that it's very referral based, which is if you want to get a really good offer, you need to know the right people and you have to prove your track record at the same time. It's going to be very hard for beginners. But also at the same time, like I say all the time, beginners, their biggest asset is what? Coachability and the hunger that these inbound closers don't have. Plus these inbound closers, you think they're good? They're making 20, 30K a month. You think they're good? They're not that good. They're not that fucking good as you think you are.
So why are they making 20, 30K a month?
They are decent, but also at the same time, you have to understand like a lot of context. For example, we know guys that made 100K a month, 200K a month with closing. They are in a really good offer also. They're in a really good dumper offer. I'm not going to discredit all of that, right? Finding good offers is a skill set, also knowing who, but it's also a set skill of like, I know people that have been in good offers, making 30K, 40K a month, something like that. The next month making 2K a month, all exposed.
Why? And
then they got into another offer, and then they're now making like 5K, 6K a month. Like you mentioned about the crypto offer, right? It was hot back in the days.
Oh yeah,
it was hot back in the days. So even if you put a dog and like having someone take a shit while taking a call, you'd still close that person, right? Back in the days. Just being very dramatic. It's probably not like that, but very dramatic also, right? Probably like a shitty closer, even get there will make 10K a month, right? So I've seen people with good offers like that are, I guess, less qualified, make some good money, but also at the same time, they all get exposed at one point. They all get exposed.
But why even like learn skill set? Why even dial leads? Why can't I just like keep hopping from one good offer to another?
You can do that. I mean, I think you and I have different perspectives on this, and I think we can legitimately have a debate on this. It'll be a very good episode. I believe that offer hopping is inevitable because what I've seen in this industry is that like even my most current offer, right, crashed after I left. After there's, I hate to say this, superstar closer left, it crashed because they were so reliant on my system, on how I close, on how I objection handle with people, right? There was no funnel or system in place, so it crashed. Right? Or for example, like I see a lot of offers that are doing so well and the market is not like that. For example, we know like a really good fitness account back in the days a year ago, like the top closer was making 40K a month. Now the top closer is making 10K a month. It's just offer hopping, like offer crashing, marketing crashing. We both agree that it's inevitable, right? So at the end of the day, it's a debate, but I do know in my mind, you have to do two things at the end of the day. Number one is do your absolute best to salvage yourself with activities, first of all. And second of all, know how to, I guess, network, get offers. Not only just network. Networking is more like passive way to get offers. Also proactively get offers as well. Get yourself out there. That's another subject for another day. Right? But sales activity is number one still. 100%. You got to make the most out of it because what I see closers is, I feel like I'm talking all the time. I'll let you talk also. What I've seen with closers is that when they know that they're going to get fired or when they know that they're leaving the offer, they stop working at 100%. You're like, why am I working so hard? That's the moment you want to juice out 100% everything that you've got, right? Because you've talked with a lot of people so far, so you got a lot of leverage to make some good deals here and there, first of all. And second of all, like this whole space is very small. So from a career perspective, you might see that sales manager again somewhere.
Yep.
And he knows you, that you didn't work that hard because your last impression lasts. You didn't work that hard, and he knows you that he just remembers you that way. You're always going to be remembered. Yeah, it's like not a real hustler. For example, when Adam fired me, like I'm working with Adam, by the way, again.
Nice.
Working with Adam again, by the way, right? In a management position. He's the one who fired me because I didn't make sales. But he knew I was a fucking hustler, though. He knew I was a go-getter, though. So I left the relation on a very good note. I made a damn fucking good impression on him, right? So he respects me. I respect the dude also, right? And he's like, whatever like good opportunities come up, it's not like good opportunity like 10K a month. It's like legitimate 20K, 30K a month opportunity. He comes to me now, even though I was fired by him directly, right? So I'm more of the do two things at once: sales activity and keep on looking for offers. What about you though?
Yeah. I mean, in this space, you're going to keep seeing the same people over and over again. I can't, like, there's this one rep, like, we used to sell at the same company. And then now, like, I was training this one team. And then we were talking about, like, he was about to come on this team. And then now I'm, like, training another team. He was about to come on this. Like, you'll just keep running into the same people, right?
Yep.
So that's why, like, if you have a good reputation, the thing is, I get DMs from sales managers, CROs, those kind of people. And I can't tell you how many times they tell me, hey, like, do you have any, like, killers who can go hunt? Like who can follow up and close deals. That's just one call closes. And so sales managers are looking for these people. So if all else is equal, if one dude and another dude, right? One dude is just doing inbound closing, another dude's like, hey, listen, I do inbound closing, and also I can close deals from outbound. Who do you think the sales manager is going to choose? If all else is equal, obviously the second one, right? And so I always say being a good sales guy is like being a hot girl. If you have the skill set, right? Not just on the calls, but off the calls. How do you close deals during no-shows and empty space in your calendars? You don't need book calls to close deals. Dude, I can't tell you, like, once I realized that, I don't need book calls to close deals, that was the most, like, liberating feeling I've ever had because I'm like, fuck, like, I don't need book calls. I can go into the CRO, I can close, right? And so when you have that, it just makes you very irreplaceable.
Yeah.
I here's my thoughts on it. Inbound-only closers will be replaced and decimated by inbound and outbound hybrid closers.
Yep.
It's already happening. Mm-hmm. I already see it.
Yep.
Right? So like the people that are just like, like no book calls, dude, their commissions drop.
Yep.
Like marketing will inevitably go down. Right? And as opposed to another closer that can be like, yeah, like lead flow's going on. I go into CRM and like I bang out deals.
Yeah. I'm in a position where I'm hiring people now, right? I'm gonna be managing one more offer also, which is a pretty big offer. I'm in a position to hire someone. And literally the first batch that I hired these guys was their skill level is on I would say like a 6 out of 10. I mean, need more refinement for sure, right? They're decent guys, by the way. Like they're really good, decent. But the reason why I hired these guys is like as someone who's a 10 out of 10 is that they had the activities with them. For example, one guy, I'll just shout out his name, William. I hired William Rice, for example, one of my one-on-one guys.
Oh, yeah?
He's called the prodigy of mine.
Oh.
But he legitimately works 10 hours, 7 days a week. He told me, June, there's no holidays for me. And whenever he went on a holiday unintentionally because there was a marriage, and he was like, June, I fucking hate this. I need to get on calls. I see his work ethic. His skill is like pretty good now, pretty good also. But the reason why I hired him is because I know he's gonna go the extra mile to put in the discipline. For example, another guy that I hired, he's a closer, but he also does 200 dials a day also. Like he sets his own deals also. So I was like, I didn't even hear his calls. I was like, dude, you're hired. I want you on the spot. I hired those two guys. Like you're gonna like this is the market now, and this is a good tip for beginners also, is that beginners especially like people like when you're getting on an interview, right? You definitely need to objection handle. It's like who are you looking for? Like someone who's like churning all the time with ego, or someone who actually would go get out of their own way. And you could also objection handle like with your business owners, like, hey, like okay, you probably don't want to hire me because you know, like you're looking for experienced closer. Can I ask you why? What's the reason behind that? Seek to understand before you challenge someone. And once you understand the reason why, you can be like, hey, Okay, don't put me in an inbound calendar then. I'll just dial these leads that the inbound closers, your closers, would not even follow up with them. They don't even do anything about it. I'll just do that. I'll just prove my way up. And once I prove my way up, put me in a position then. You can negotiate deals like that because they got nothing to lose. Their closers are not going to do anything about it. So just hire me. I'll be your outbound closer then. I'll be your outbound setter, whatever it is. I'll go the extra mile for you. And even though I go the extra mile as a beginner, even when I'm also on the team in an inbound closing position, I'll always go the extra mile, not like these inbound closers. I can close the business owner's spot like that also. That's a leverage also. That's negotiation, right? And
100%.
And people will get replaced by that now.
100%. I just think people are just not persistent enough in just different areas.
Why do you think people are like less proactive, or why do you think people are less less going after it, I guess?
Number one, laziness. Second is they're afraid of something, whatever the thing is. Scared of rejection, scared of how people perceive it. Listen, like I get that too. Like I have that sometimes. I'm still working on it, but a lot better than before. Like I give way less than I did before. You know,
sorry to cut you off here, but can you talk about the story where there was this one guy who had like this kid that he needed support, but he was like, hey Brian, I'm afraid of outbound dialing. Can you talk about the story?
Oh my God. So this one dude, and he's like, hey Brian, listen, I'm I gotta make more money, I gotta close more deals. Can you give me some tips? So I hopped in the call with him for free for like 30 minutes or something. And I probably should stop doing that with people because like if I hop on a call with people for free, people don't fucking do it. And then later on, like a week or a month after, like they hit me up with that same fucking problem. I was like, dude, I told you what to do, right? If they did it, they still have problems. Okay, let's problem solve what's going on. But they didn't even do it. I'm just like, dude, what are we doing here? Stop wasting me and your time, right?
Yeah.
So this guy was like, hey, Brian, I gave him some tips. And then he still messaged me. He's like, yeah, outbound, like I should call outbound, but I'm not. I'm like, why aren't you calling leads? Because I'm scared. What are you scared about? Like what if they don't need my service, Oh, dude, like, what's the only way to find out? I was like, yeah, do it. And then he's like, I know I should do it. I'm not. I'm just like, well, dude, maybe you're just too comfortable. And he's like, I'm not. Like, I have a kid and I have like a 9-month daughter. Like, hospital bills are piling up. Like, and you're scared of like someone's gonna say no on the phone that you don't know, that you'll never fucking meet. Like, yeah, but I was like, at that point, I stopped responding. I was like, well, you deserve what you have right now. Stay there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about you enough to do that. Like, I mean, I care about you as a human being, but like, do it or don't. Like, it's not my fucking life. I don't care. That's the thing about like me. Like, with people that I care about, I really care about them. But like, rest of the people, I'm just like, do it or don't. I don't give a shit. It's your fucking life.
Yeah. I think I'm a little more caring than you, I guess.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I try to give people, I believe in second chances, third chance, fourth chances, forgiveness also. That's what I believe in also. I believe that people can change because I've changed also from 6 years ago. You see the video also from 6 years ago, me to right now. I believe in change also.
Someone said, you know the photo you posted on the modeling photo, right? When you were like a broke model in Milan. And someone commented, man, Matrix could have been a Korean movie. Or something like that. The comment section is wild.
I'm a troller. I'm a troll on Facebook. But I do agree also. One thing that I want to tell you is like, the reason why people don't go the extra mile is a standard thing. Like I'm a huge believer in standards. Like Tony Robbins says, always elevate your standard. You can never live beyond your standards. Your standard determines your life also. So the reason why you don't go after it, the reason why, for example, lack of productivity is a symptom of your standards, whatever standards you adopt. At the end of the day, like if your standard is like the person that you want to become, ultimately the highest version of yourself, right? Then you would always tell yourself, despite of X, Y, Z, how can I make it work? Despite of all this, how can I make it work? Not instead of because I'm scared.
Exactly.
Despite of me being scared, what can I do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stop being scared. Subscribe, share it to your sales homies. Bye.